The last straw. Hoshmakaka, the old camel, was asleep in the desert night. He dreamed of all the water in the world and a hump that would hold the entire sea. Hearing voices, he opened one eye. Hoshmakaka, Hoshmakaka. Reluctantly, Hoshmakaka opened the other eye. Why should I wake up? He grumbled. The sand whirled up into the moonlit sky. You have been chosen, the voices whispered. You will carry gifts to the baby king. Who are you? Hoshmakaka asked, for he was an old camel, and he felt he had earned his sleep. You will carry frankincense and myrrh and gold. The wise men have chosen you. Hoshmakaka got up very slowly. Why me? And if these men are so wise, don't they know about my swollen joints, my aching legs and back? And what did you say I'm to carry? And how much does it weigh? Besides, I have other commitments. The sand blew furiously, cutting into the black night. Hoshmakaka was startled and decided he had better do as the voices said. Who knew what made the wind move like creatures with great wings? When do I start? He asked carefully. Today. And with that, the sand voices disappeared, and it was morning. It was still early as the servants of the wise men placed the precious gifts onto Hoshmakaka's back. The young camels ran to their good friend. They all looked up to him and they thought him old and wise. You must be a very special camel, they sighed. I am very special. Hoshmakaka puffed out his chest with pride, and then he said something a little foolish. I'm not so old. I'm still as strong as 10 horses, and I have been chosen to carry rich gifts to the new baby king. Can we come too? Said the youngest camel, who never wanted to be left behind. You may walk beside me, Hoshmakaka replied in his most regal voice, and the long journey began. At noon, a herd of mountain goats came into view. Hoshmakaka thought they had come a long way from their mountain home in the north. What is it you want? Hoshmakaka called out. We heard of a new king who is to be born. Please take our humble gift with you. It is milk for the king. You want me to carry milk? Hoshmakaka sputtered in shock. I am not a milk-bearing camel. I am not ordinary like you. The young camels chorused, No, he's not ordinary. He's as strong as 10 horses. Hoshmakaka muttered to himself, Oh, my joints, my legs, my sciatica. But aloud he said grandly, Give me your gifts. At 1 o'clock, he was stopped by a family of millers. Look, said the youngest camel, they're carrying bags of ground corn. Do you suppose they're for the new king? Well, they will have to carry those for themselves, Hoshmakaka replied. They can follow that star like the rest of us. The young camels gathered around him eagerly. But you're so strong. You're as strong as 10 horses. He felt weary just looking at the bags, but he said to the millers, Give me your heavy bags. I will carry them. At 2 o'clock the next day, young ladies gave Hoshmakaka their fine silks. At least the cloth doesn't weigh anything, he thought. At 3 o'clock, an old man in fine clothes gave him 2 birds in silver cages. At 4 o'clock, some merchants gave him pillars of oak that came all the way from Lebanon. At 5 o'clock, a group of bakers gave him their finest sweetmeats and pastries. At 6 o'clock, the sun finally went down and the crowds melted into the night. Hoshmakaka gratefully sank into the sand. In the darkness, he didn't have to pretend he was as strong as 10 horses. He became aware that the sky didn't seem as dark as usual. He looked up and saw the splendor of the skies and the special brightness of the star he had been following. He fell asleep, wondering about the sand voices and the wings he thought he could almost see. But as the sun rose over the desert hills, it was hard to remember the wonder of that star. For the new day brought new pains and burdens for Hoshmakaka. "I don't think I will make it. I can't carry any more. My legs are aching and getting weaker, and my back is giving out. I am too loaded down." But word of the caravan had spread like sand before the desert wind. People lined the route, holding up their gifts for Hoshmakaka to take to the baby king. There were jars full of honey and baskets of money. There were jewels and beads and large rolls of leather, and last but not least, 20 gallons of wine. Hoshmakaka moaned to himself, "This will bring me to ruin, this fruit of the vine." But then the youngest camel cried out, "Look, look, there's Bethlehem. You made it, Hoshmakaka. You are as strong as 10 horses. Now Hoshmakaka knew he could just do it if he did not stop until he arrived at the spot beneath the star. He could, he knew he could. But just then, out of the growing darkness, a small voice called out, "I have a gift for the baby." Hoshmakaka looked down at the tiny child. "Please, no more gifts. It has no weight. It's long and light. It's for the king who is born this night. It's little," the child said. "Too little is too much," Hoshmakaka whispered. "Didn't I hear them say you were as strong as 10 horses?" asked the child. "Well, yes, I am, sort of. But my joints, my legs." Hoshmakaka looked into the child's eyes, and his heart melted. "Yes, child, give it to me, this smaller than small gift. What harm can it do?" "It's for his bed. It's all I have." "No problem at all," said Hoshmakaka, bravely if foolishly. Now all this time, Hoshmakaka had kept walking because he knew if he stopped, he could not start again. Now he could see that the star shone over a lowly stable. "Child, do it now. Place your straw on my back as I approach the king." Hoshmakaka entered the stable. "Oh, my knees are loosening. My legs, they wobble. My back is breaking. Will this last straw cause me to fall?" And with that, Hoshmakaka fell to his knees. "Oh my," he thought, "this is no way for a camel to behave. They will say that Hoshmakaka, the weak camel, Hoshmakaka, the proud camel, should not have tried to travel so far." The wise men noticed Hoshmakaka, and quickly they too knelt. "Oh, they are mocking me now, falling on their knees, heads bent like old gnarled trees." And then, from the humble manger, a tiny hand reached out and touched Hoshmakaka, and his pain seemed to disappear. He could no longer feel his burden. Hoshmakaka whispered to the baby, "Hosanna, Hosanna from Hoshmakaka. Accept these gifts kindly. They come from far and wide, and they are brought to you by a beast who once acted blindly." And from that time on, there was no burden, great or small, that Hoshmakaka would not gladly carry.